So the first card you have for your past is the Eight of Swords. So yeah, this is obviously feeling trapped, not being able to move, all those kinds of things. It can be about censorship, being stuck in the mud, not being able to say things. Okay, so and I think that's how you were feeling at one time. I'm just looking at these swords forming a circle, kind of forming almost a circle, like a half circle, but it looks like they're going around this woman. And what I'm seeing is, yeah, you felt really, really trapped at one time. That's how you felt. Trapped in your thoughts, trapped by your feelings. You were really missing someone. I think they left you or something happened, and you were just really, really, really missing them. And it went on for a long, long time. A long time, a long process. You had to get through that process. And I think after you got through all of that and you got to the end of that and you looked back on this, and I think you just thought, well, okay, what was I thinking? Why was I in that situation? It's crazy. What was I thinking? Why was I so crazy about this person? It's almost like you're walking around in a fog and you couldn't see where you were going. You were blinded by this person. Look at this poor woman. She's got a blindfold on. She's all tied up, and that's how you were for a while. And it's just nothing could. There was nothing you could have done to have to get through that sooner. You just had to get through it when you did. These things just happen when they happened. But when the fog lifted, you were like, what was I doing with this person? Why was I so crazy about this person? And what I'm picking up around this circular formation of swords that's going around this poor woman is it's actually the saying, what goes around comes around. Going around, like the swords are going around. So you were hurt by these swords, and now I think someone else is being hurt by these swords. And I think that's the person who you really, really missed at this time. I think they're going through something right now, something quite bad. There's a lot of regret coming from them. I think they thought they were going to be free. This is what I'm getting. I don't know if this is going to make any sense to you, because I'm seeing false freedom. False freedom. They thought they were going to be free. And, they might have been a little bit arrogant, actually, about that. I think they might have said things to people, things like, bragging, saying, I'm free now. I'm away from that horrible situation. I'm so much better now that I'm not in that. All of that. And I think that's really hurtful as well. I think that kept on setting you back. The more they said, because swords can be words as well. So the more they said, the more set back you were, the more in this fog you were, the harder it was for you to get through this. You got through this, and I actually think they're in a really horrible situation right now. There's overlap here as well. I think they might have gone straight from you to someone else without really even thinking about it. Or maybe they were still with you while they were with someone else. There is some kind of overlap. I'm not seeing a gap. So they've had no time to themselves. They've had no time to kind of think, okay, what do I want in a new relationship? No, they just went, I just need anyone. I just have to jump into any old relationship. And now they're trapped in this horrible situation. So, and when I see houses, when you see houses in tarot, any kind of house, there's a castle here or a house on a hill or whatever it is. It represents relationships a lot of the time. It represents a home with someone, stability with someone, a stable relationship. And, if you look at this woman, the house is behind her. So she's left her home. She's gone so far. And now she can't go forward and she can't go back either. She's kind of stuck where she is. So I think that's how they feel. I feel as if, I think they feel as if they had something stable with you. And they've walked off and they've gotten into this new situation and they can't go forward. They're stuck where they are. They're not happy. They can't get out. That's how they feel. They probably can, but that's how they feel. And they can't go back to you either, because the swords are there behind them. They've said whatever horrible things they've said, and you've moved on, and now what they've said and what they've done to you is in the way between them coming back to you again, because it's too late for them. That's how they feel. So yeah, they can't get out of what they're in. They can, I think they can, but they don't feel as if they can. They're in a very difficult position. So that's what I'm getting in that card. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so the next card you have, you pass the High Priestess. Yeah, so with the High Priestess, she's very knowledgeable, obviously, very, very spiritual. She's very wise. She doesn't say very much. She doesn't give a lot away. Sometimes she can be about secrets, so she keeps a lot of things to herself. And she gives her knowledge away to people who she thinks it, deserves that knowledge. But yeah, this is how I'm seeing you actually. You can be a bit like this. You can be a bit quiet, thoughtful, introspective, very intelligent. But I think you don't, because you don't come across as being really loud. You don't go around bragging. You don't go around saying, oh, I know this, I know that, I know what I'm doing. You just sit there, you just survey the situation, you look at other people, you work out what's going on. So you're very wise in that way. And, I think sometimes people underestimate you a bit because of that. Because sometimes when you're a quiet person in a sea of loud people, what everyone hears is the loudness. They hear all the words from the loud people and they don't hear anything from you. And I'm seeing family here. So it might be that you spent some time with your family recently. We've got the holidays, so if you celebrate that, it might be that. And there's a little bit of competitiveness here. I'm actually seeing someone who's, yeah, they're a high achiever. They're a very high achiever. I think this is someone in your family. Now, I don't think you have any problems with this individual. I think you're quite laid back. You like them. You don't have a problem with them. You're not jealous or anything like that. But I think there might be some other people around this who, might be saying things, making comparisons between you and all that kind of thing. So, and I don't think you were tempted to say anything. I think you were just keeping this all to yourself, keeping things to yourself. But don't be tempted to do that, because sometimes people can get caught up in a competition subconsciously. They don't mean to, but they think, well, I'll show them. I'm not silly. I can do this. I can do that. So but you don't have to compete on someone else's level, and that's what these people have to learn, because you're a very unique person, and what you see as a success, it's up to you. It's totally up to you. It's different from what he sees as a success, what someone else sees as a success. You see success as something completely different. So only look at success on your own terms. Don't compare yourself to other people. And I don't think you're doing that. But sometimes we can get caught up in this kind of family competitiveness. And, I'm like that as well. I'm someone who's just in my own lane, doing my own thing. I don't think anyone's worse or better than anyone else. I think people are just doing what they're supposed to be doing. Hopefully they are. And, I've got that. I had that over the holidays. I had, oh, meet your cousin. She's going out with a doctor and the other one's a lawyer. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong. I don't have any problem with a doctor or a lawyer. But I'm not going to compare myself to them, because they're doing what they want and I do what I want. There's no better or worse here. And so I think that deep down. But not in terms of what other people think, in terms of what you think. You're going to achieve things that are personal to you. You're going to achieve a lot. I'm really seeing that here. And I think by the end of the year, when you find yourself in this situation again, around family, next December or whenever this is, people are going to say things. I think they always are. They're always going to be competitive. There are always going to be these people around. But I'm actually seeing you kind of just sitting there. You're just going to smile to yourself very quietly, just very knowingly. And you're just going to know, I'm accomplished. I'm accomplished on my own terms. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I don't even have to say anything to these people. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to smile quietly. So I think that's what's going to happen. By this time next year, you'll have this real inner knowing. You'll have achieved something that you've really wanted to. And it's not for other people. You don't even have to tell them. But you're going to know. You're going to know inside yourself. So that's what I'm seeing in that card. And the High Priestess has an inner knowing. She has this inner knowing. So the last card you have, you pass the Five of Swords. Okay, so what's happening with this family thing and this kind of jealousy and this competition thing? Obviously, it's not dramatic. It's not like what's happening on this card. But there is a message on this card, and I think it is about this. I think it's about this family situation. And, these two people are walking away from this man. So the message here is, walk away from any of that kind of competitiveness, and he's better than she is, and she's better than he is, and they're better than them, and he's better than her, and all that kind of thing. Walk away from that. Not physically. This is more about mentally walking away in your mind, protecting yourself, protecting what's inside yourself, protecting your personal ambitions. And I think if you do that, that self-protection, that's what's going to help you to grow. That's what's going to help you to achieve things in the new year. It's kind of like having a tiny seed inside yourself, and you have to protect that tiny seed. You have to let it grow. You have to water it. You have to make sure birds don't come and peck at the seed. You have to make sure worms don't come in and corrode the seed. You have to be careful. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to nurture this little seed inside yourself. It's going to grow, and it's going to grow into something really, really big, and I think it's going to be quite lucrative for you as well. Whatever this thing is that you're growing inside yourself, it's an ambition. And you've got the Seven of Pentacles there as well, which is all about growing money, growing things for yourself. So yeah, so that's what I'm seeing in that card. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the first card you have, your presence, the Queen of Wands. This is a really fantastic card, especially for ambitions, because this is a really ambitious queen. She's really go-getting, and she's very positive. She's like, I'm determined, I'm going to go forward. I'm holding a sunflower. I've got this positivity. I've got the wand in my other hand. I've got action there. I've got lions everywhere. I'm very brave. So that's what she's like. And you're brave, but not a lot of people see that. But it doesn't matter. You know it's there. That's all that matters. Now, the other thing about this queen is she's totally in charge of herself. She's in charge of her destiny. She's in charge of who she lets into her life. She's not the Queen of Swords. She's not as guarded. She's not as fearful. She's a lot braver, but she's just in control of her life. She's in control of who comes in. Now, if you're single, I'm actually seeing a lot of passion coming in for you. I'm seeing a very passionate person coming in. Now, the thing here is you're in control. You might say yes to this person, you might say no to this person, but it's all on your terms. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I'm not seeing a permanent relationship here. There's nothing permanent. There's nothing stable here. Yeah, I'm just looking at this black cat. And, cats can be really affectionate, really loving. They come and sit on your knee and you pat them and they purr and all that kind of thing. They're loving. But they wander around, they wander around everywhere, from person to person. They go for miles. If you've ever had a cat, goes out of your front door, walks down the road, and you don't see them for hours. They go off, they go wandering around. So I don't think they'll present themselves as like a stable prospect for you. They're not going to pretend. They're not going to lie to you. They're not going to say, oh, I want a relationship, and then trick you. They're not like that. That's not what I'm seeing. But, there's a lot of passion here. So just be aware that this is probably coming up for you if you're single. It's passion, but there's no commitment there. So that's totally up to you as to how you deal with that. But that's what I'm seeing there coming up for you. And with this ambition, it feels like something that's coming from you. I think you have some kind of skill. It's some kind of skill, some kind of talent, and it's very unique to you, very special to you. It feels like it's a part of you, it's yours. Now, I think you'll be working on this thing in the new year. It might turn into a business, because I was seeing that in the Five of Swords, and I'm seeing that again down there in the Seven of Pentacles. So, yes, slow, steady growth. I'm seeing slow, steady financial growth. So that's going to be going on in the new year, very slow growth. And I think you're going to come to a point where there's going to be a decision that you're going to have to make around this thing. And yeah, it looks like one of these choices might feel a little bit risky to you. It feels exciting to me, but it might feel risky to you. And there's another choice here as well, but that looks a little bit safer. It's not as exciting. And, obviously you're just going to have to weigh things up, because but this is the Queen of Wands. This is the Queen of Wands. So, and she's very brave. So it might be that you take the riskier option. And by risky, that doesn't mean you're going to lose what you already have. But it's going to do one of two things. It might catapult you into a completely new level, or it might go nowhere. You're not going to lose things. You're not going to go into the negative. You're not going to lose any money. I'm not seeing that happening. But, you know, take your time, make your decision slowly, and don't be afraid of this, because this Queen's very brave. That's the message there as well. And yeah, I think this is a really good decision. If you take this risk, this is what I'm saying, if you take this risk, I don't think it really is much of a risk. You're not going to lose very much. You're not going to lose money. I'm not seeing that. You're probably only going to lose some time, and you'll probably learn a few lessons. That's about it. And, you know, you've got the Queen of Wands, so she's quite risky, or not risky, but she's bold. She'll kind of take the bold decision. So I won't say any more about that, because I don't want to influence you, but yeah, that's all I'll really say about that. But yeah, you've got the Seven of Pentacles here as well, so I'm just going to talk about this here as well. Again, you know, he's built up what he has, he's built up his money, he's built everything up, and, you know, same as in the Five of Swords, planting a seed, watching it grow. Again, you know, he's worrying about losing what he has. He's built this up for himself. No matter what decision you make here, you're not really going to lose. Again, you're not going to lose any money. It's not going to be like that. The only thing you're going to lose is maybe a bit of time. And you know, just have a look at the Queen of Wands again. I'll show you this. I'll show you this decision here. If you look to the left of her, if you look to the left of her throne, there are these beautiful golden pyramids there, and on the other side, it just looks really grey, dull, very flat, all that. So they're the two choices. One's golden, one's flat. I know I said I wasn't going to influence you. I'm not going to say anymore, but that's what's coming up for you. So that's all I'm going to say. Okay, so the last card you have for your presence, Temperance. I absolutely love this card. Okay, so I know I wasn't going to say any more about this choice, but I'm seeing this again here, and I think this is an important message about that. I actually think you might be led into this decision, led into the correct decision, because you've already been led into doing this, I think, because this is something that's you. And when I was looking at that decision in the Queen of Wands, I felt as if I had to say, you know, don't worry, it's okay, don't worry about the risk. So I think the message here is just try and relax around this as much as you can. And if you do that, you'll be led to the right decision. You know, there's this beautiful angel on this card, and he's leading you upwards, up with these beautiful wings. So I think when the time comes, and even any other decisions you have to make around this work thing or this business thing, try and relax in it as much as you can. Just let your instincts take over, and then you'll be led in the right way. Try and relax in this. Don't stress around this. That's what I'm getting in that card. And yeah, there's something else here. I'm getting this, you know, the Temperance card can be quite an independent card, and I'm getting independence here. And yeah, this is if you're single, obviously. Yeah, I think you're going to be concentrating on your work for a while. And it's interesting. I think there might be something spiritual about your work, actually. Something alternative. And I'm seeing helping people as well, because the Temperance card can be about healing, and, you know, healing and helping with these yellow daffodils. They're a symbol of healing. So it's not just about achieving things for you. It's not just about making money. That's going to come, you know, because you've got the Seven of Pentacles there. But it's a lot deeper than that for you. A lot deeper. Very, very spiritual. So, you know, I'm also getting this attitude of, I know who I am, and, you know, I don't want to lose myself in someone else. I'm strong in myself, and, you know, if love comes along, it's going to have to join me and fit in with me. So you've got this beautiful healing spirit there, and you've got this big spirit of strength as well when it comes to you. So healing and helping when it comes to others, and strength when it comes to yourself. So that's a really, really, really nice combination there. And, you know, you're on a mission now. You're on a spiritual mission. You're on a work mission. You're a bit like the Queen of Wands. Like, you know where you're going. You know you're not going to. You know you don't want to jeopardize that by, you know, fitting in with someone else. It's like anyone who comes along to me romantically, they're going to have to fit in with you. That's what I'm seeing now. I know that might sound a little bit arrogant, but that's not how I'm seeing this at all. This is the ultimate in protecting yourself, really protecting yourself from people and things and anything that's not good for you. And that's what I was seeing the beginning of in the Five of Swords. Really nurturing what's inside yourself, really protecting that. So I'm really glad to see this again in the Temperance card. Okay, I know I've got a croaky voice. I'm very tired, but I'm going to keep going. So yes, so the first card you have for your future is the Nine of Swords. Yes. Okay, so obviously there's a sequence here. So you have the Eight of Swords, and now you've got the Nine of Swords. Now, with the Eight of Swords, I was seeing this person, I was seeing this axe, and you got away from them. And now they felt as if they were entrapped in that card. They had this entrapment around them with these swords. And it's the same here. These swords are kind of forming a cage around this poor woman. And, they're definitely trying to get out of this. They're trying to manifest a way out of this. But I don't think they're doing anything physically. There are red roses all over this quilt. So that represents manifestation. That's what they want. They want to get out, but they're not doing anything. They feel as if they can't for some reason. I don't know why that is. They might have money problems. And yeah, I know this is someone you might not like, but I hate seeing this for anyone. I really do. Yeah, there might be some manipulation around this as well. I think there's someone around them who's keeping them in this situation. I don't know why. And I think they had a chance to get out of this earlier on, but they didn't take that chance. They just let things go, and now they're kind of worse off now. Because if you look at the Eight of Swords again, she's got this blindfold on and she's got these ropes around her, but they're loose. So, they could have taken them off. They could have moved forward, but they didn't do that. And, they could now, but they feel as if they can't get out of this. But yeah, that's what's happening with them, sadly. They're still in that situation. So that's what I'm seeing with them. Very, very sad. So yeah, so the next card you have for your future is the Three of Wands. Do you know what? I think they're thinking about you. I think they're thinking about you. I think they're missing you. And I think that's why they keep on coming up in this reading. They're coming up all the time in this reading. And that's why. Because this is the card of waiting, and it's the card of wanting as well. I'm waiting, I'm wanting something. I don't think they're going to say anything to you. I don't think they can right now, or they feel as if they can't. Yeah, there's someone around them, I think, and they're they're stopping them from leaving, or they're stopping them from something. They're not being held hostage. It's nothing extreme like that, but they're obviously having problems. But I think a lot of the problems they have are in their head, really. Yeah, they might contact you at some time, probably when they're out of this situation. That's when they'll feel brave enough, I think. But and you might talk to them. You might talk to them as a friend. But I'm not seeing a relationship between you. I'm really not seeing that, because you've already worked your way through this, and it was a lot of work for you. I've seen that in the Eight of Swords. You really, really struggled to work your way out of this. And yeah, I'm not seeing you going back. I'm really not seeing that. But I think that might be their hope. I really do. Okay, so the last card you have for your future is the Eight of Wands. Okay, so look at this. This is action. This is about your mission. This is about your work and your spiritual mission. And it's right next to the Temperance card. And that's where I'm seeing that again. So it's kind of fitting in with that. So it's about that. And, you're not letting anyone get in the way of what you want to do. No one. Friends, lovers, nobody. You're not going to be a hermit, but no one's getting in the way of what you want to do now. There are no people in this card. All there is in this card's action. That's all there is. So, that's what you're going to be concentrating on once again. And I was seeing that in the Temperance card. Your work, your spiritual things, and all of that's kind of tied in together. This is your mission. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And you're going to be helping a lot of people as well. I'm seeing that as well.